It's time now for the news review segment here on Breakfast Daily. I have two fine gentlemen in the studio with me, known faces on the show. I'm sure you're familiar with them. Elvis Dako is with the Finder newspaper. Good morning, Elvis.
Good morning.
Yes, and of course, Chief Larry Dugbe.
Good morning.
I've added a title to it.
They say you should bring the cap.
The cap, no? Yeah, the people say they want the cap.
They want to see the
coolie high.
Yeah. But today you've dressed well.
I heard you were coming.
No.
No, I was told you were coming, so I had to prepare.
You sure you're not on your way to Dubai?
Cup 28.
Is that place not full? Considering the number of people we have sent there.
Oh, there's more space.
There's more space there.
More space.
But is there enough money?
That's why in this economy, you can find money in this economy.
That's where the problem is. Or you say we'll sign some climate change deal and then we'll use the money for that.
Oh, yeah.
Because I noticed that we signed some $50 million emissions on
first
that.
day we had 30 million.
That is where the trip is.
Perhaps. We are waiting for them to come back. And
First day we had 30 million. The year said we had 50 million. So now $80 million already.
And counting.
And counting.
And counting.
Maybe by the time we come back, we'll bring like 500 million.
It sounds like this guy, what's his name?
Aisha, the money is
big.
I
hear Kufuor responded, Ghana better than
Oh, wow. Anyways, guys, thank you so very much for joining us this morning. Let's get straight into it. And we're starting from the courts. Yesterday, Galamsey Kwimpeng, Aisha Huang, was jailed 4.5 years. There's a story on Citi Newsroom that says Aisha Huang abused Ghana's hospitality, and this is attributed to the judge on the case. Justice Lydia Osei Mafo, the judge who sentenced Galamsey Kwimpeng Aisha Huang to 4.5 years in prison, says the Chinese national took advantage of Ghana's hospitality. Aisha Huang was also ordered to pay a fine of 48,000 Ghana cedis. The accused person abused our kind hospitality, and I'm quoting, when her first trial was truncated and she was deported to her home country. She came back this time with new personality with a different name, different date of birth, Justice Lydia Osei Mafo said. Let me start with you, Elvis. 4.5 years, deterrent enough? Is it punitive enough? The AG, Deputy AG has been explaining that, there's no evidence to show that she committed any offense after 2018, and so she was tried under the previous law. And so that is the maximum sentence she could have been given.
Yeah, I think the previous law, the maximum sentence was 5 years.
5 years.
So at least if you go for
4
years, 6 months, at least we'll say the law has been applied based on what we know. Yeah, but see, the Aisha Huang story, and I think that I'll commend the judge, and part of the ruling of what she said is that no foreigner can come to Ghana to come and do Galamsey without the collaboration of the Ghanaians.
Yeah.
And so she's of the view that whilst we are chasing the Galamseyers, the law should also go after the landowners and chiefs who give their lands to people to do illegal mining. And I think that some of us have said this thing so many times that, look, if the one who is giving the land will go scot-free, nothing will happen to the person, then the Galamsey fight will be difficult. But if it's part of the law that when somebody is undertaking illegal mining on your land, you, the landowner, you face prosecution.
With or without your consent?
Why can somebody do something on the land without your consent?
But what if I'm not in the country?
If you're not in the country, you have to prove to us that you don't know anything about it. You understand it? I cannot have my land and somebody will just be doing Galamsey on it, then I sit aloof. If it's not with my express permission, how can somebody just walk into my land? The land has been there for generations. Nobody can walk onto it because everybody knows that this land belongs to this family or this man or that. So I think that the recommendations of the judge that the law should go after the owners of the land, I think that it is one very important thing that if we want to win the fight against Galamsey, we must include in the law. Until that time, it will be difficult for us to do this. Because see, the kingpins of Galamsey, they are difficult to get. Because you never meet them on the field. They hire people that when you arrest them today, they hire different people tomorrow. So the main kingpins are hiding behind somewhere with their finances. And we are not targeting them. So if we can target the owners of the land and say, look, the law of the land is against illegal mining. So before you give your land to anybody to mine, you must make sure the person has all the necessary permits. If you don't do that, then you yourself must be prosecuted. I think that it will be one big arsenal that will help deter these people from giving out their land. See, the Aisha case also raises another issue about how secured we are as a country. See, this is a lady that was deported out of this country.
Yeah.
Okay. How come she was able to re-enter the country? Because there's no serious country that has a serious security system at their borders that when you are deported, you can come back. Because the moment you get to the border, definitely your fingerprint will have to be taken. And the moment that happens, there's an alert. And when you look at what happened when she tried to go and register for NIA card again, with all the fake documentation, because the system was up and doing, the very moment they put the fingerprint, they said, no, you already have a Ghana card.
Right.
And he said, I've changed my name. Then they say, okay, by the law of the NIA, if you change your name and the rest, you have to produce document A, B, C, D to prove that indeed you are the same person and you only did a change of name. When she was asked to do that, she couldn't provide those documents. So she said, no, okay, if that's the case, then I want to renew the Ghana card based on my existing information in the system. There's no crime because that is who you are. So if you want to renew, it will be renewed for you. You understand it? So these are some of the things that as a country we must look at. How come she was able to enter the country? When you speak to the security agencies, as at that time, the Ghana card database has really not been made available and integrated in systems where the border agencies can easily create what we call a red alert and put people who are wanted, people who are deported, all kinds of people that the system is looking for or prohibits from entering the system can be on that red alert list. So that when that person attempts to enter and the fingerprint is taken or the facial expression is taken, immediately the system will be able to say this person has been prohibited from entering the country. This person is on a wanted list for a drug or this offense or that and that. And this is one weakness that this case has brought to me. For me, the galamsey aspect and all that, it has been overflowed. So I want us to look at the areas that we need to really pay attention for improvement so that we can prevent some of these things. Because somebody is prohibited, assuming that it is a terrorist that we're preventing from coming to our country. And we don't have the systems. And the terrorist is back to this country. The terror have caused the harm. And interestingly, she got into this country, staying in this country, operating in this country without our knowledge.
Even employed others from
employed others. It was those that he employed who have gone to the field. When they were arrested and their documentations were demanded, then they said that they were hired by Aisha to do the job and that their passport and everything is in the possession of Aisha. So it was that immigration demanded that Aisha produces the documentation of the people. It was through that process before they got to know that actually the Aisha who has been deported is back in the country. So assuming that even those people are not being arrested, we will not even know that Aisha is back into this country and is doing active business. And this really is a serious flaw. And you see, when evildoers sit somewhere and they get to realize that, Ghana's system is so porous that even when you are prohibited, you can just re-enter the country, operate, and nobody will even know. It does not sound well for us as a nation, especially our national security. So I think that it's about time we look at this thing and make sure that whatever we can do with the Ghana card database, how we can make sure that all the necessary agencies can make use, especially for security purposes. We must do everything possible to make sure that this thing is put to use. Because, see, it's a serious, it exposes the country to serious security risk. Because if anybody has any bad intentions to come and operate in this country, the person clearly gets the information that it's easy to walk in and walk out of Ghana any day, anytime. And that is not good for our
All
out
right,
of the country.
let me pick Larry's thoughts on the whole Aisha Huang issue and then the sentence handed over to her. And of course, our commitment as a country to fighting galamsey. Yesterday, we heard the Deputy AG saying that there should be a warning to all other persons engaged in the practice, and that there are over 130 cases ongoing. A casual look at some of these cases will point fingers at maybe some Kwesiata or Kofi Bedu in some village who has no resources to buy an excavator. So really, are we looking to cut off the head of the snake, or we are playing with the tail and pretending to be fighting galamsey?
Yes, to the win out of massive, you know. Isn't it just hot air?
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's just
From
hot,
all indications.
Yeah, it's just hot air.
And our tendency to ride on some of these things.
Yes, exactly. I mean, come to think of it, Elvis has been, you know, very eloquent in all this, and you kind of want to ask whether we've been told the whole story, because Elvis, you recall that when this whole story started, they said that she's been in the country for some years now, and that she's even married to someone here.
She claimed that she's married to a Ghanaian. That's
A
what she
Ghanaian,
claimed.
a very prominent Ghanaian.
Yeah.
To date, we don't know who
the prominent
the
Ghanaian
prominent
is.
Ghanaian is.
And how prominent the person is.
Thank you. Okay, so then again, I don't know whether some of these things came up at the trial. Because some of these things are things that you even have to put it to her so that she goes on record. Sometimes during cross-examination, you are not doing this just on the basis of, you know, nailing the person, but you are also helping to reveal something, okay, trying to establish a certain link. Through that, you'll be able to know that, okay, this person is connected to, you know, that person or the other. But I don't know whether, you know, these things came up
or not.
But one significant thing that it's come up, and I was reading the story, I didn't get that impression that the judge had said, sorry, Uncle Elvis mentioned, that the judge had said that, listen, this lady couldn't have walked in here without local,
The
you
connivance
know,
of-
exactly. And so going forward, you know, our laws should be shaped in such a way that even the local, you know, collaborators would have to be dealt with.
Yeah.
I read that some farmers said they had sold their land, who were called as witnesses. State prosecution witnesses came and said that they had sold their land to her. Okay, and then that is how come, you know, they noticed that she's the one, and overnight she had degraded the land and done this, done that. I mean, we need to now be dealing with our own as well. You get it? Because you can't just give off your land like that for peanut. And you know, the degradation that is happening is not just happening as in just on your land. Even if it's your land, it's going to, whatever thing that is being done there, including the chemical pollutions and so on, ends up in water bodies and so on. And then fish is killed, other aquatic, you know, life is compromised. And people who drink from that water or whose economic activities are on that water or in that water suffer. You understand? So we need to also be punishing our own as well. Not just the person who is carrying the excavator to the land, but then the person who authorized the land to be given.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? The local authorities, the district chief executives, municipal chief executives, and so on, who are also all there signing off, you know, some of these leases and so on, allowing their area to be turned into, you know, galamsey pits and all that. They also ought to be punished. Until we learn to be punishing the people our own, okay, the foreigners will come and go.
Yeah, that's true.
The foreigners will come and go. And over time, we won't get water anymore to drink. I mean, go to those areas. I'm sure you will notice that kidney diseases are on the rise. I'm told there are some certain communities where, you know, baby there's been miscarriages, a series of
That's how the
miscarriages,
babies even come with several
deformities and
all.
so on and so forth. And we are living with that, entertaining this.
It's quite dangerous.
You
It's
get
quite
it?
dangerous, yeah.
But I'm also happy about the judge, how she went on and talked about how, the lady was sent out and then she came back and then taking, advantage of her.
I think she even said she had wished she was sentencing under the new law.
The new
so
law,
she could have given the maximum 15
exactly.
years. Yeah.
But she failed to mention that, Osafo was very, or the government,
she should have touched on that.
yeah, she should have touched on that one. That, judges they are.
In actual fact, the earlier prosecution, the state filed a nullius prosecutor.
Yes.
And that was how come she was deported.
Yeah, but then the state's explanation was, the state's reason came out during Osafo Mafo's, they said that,
it was of no benefit to the country.
Because we are chasing some economic, interest
Yeah, I know.
somewhere.
I think the way he put it, I think he's talking about diplomatic relations.
Yeah.
You see, because basically China is our largest in terms of loans and anything currently as a country.
Do you
For the past 10
think
years.
you can go and do this in China? And
No,
watch
you
corporate?
can't do it. That's negotiation.
Exactly.
They are more powerful, so they can make certain requests. Like we are negotiating with the creditors now. We owe them, and we say we can't pay our debt. We went and said we want you to forgive us 10.5 billion.
Yeah.
They say it's our money. You are telling how much we forgive you. Now the negotiation is
So then demands will come in.
You understand?
Yeah.
So when you are dealing with a powerful country, obviously you'll be on the list. I think the way Osafo put it, it looks as if the government he shouldn't have even said it because see, things are done diplomatically that you just keep quiet. But I think he was trying to defend the situation, and the way he actually put it makes it look as if it's just so simple.
Yeah.
But I think that diplomatic issues shouldn't be something you should put out lightly like that. And the way he put, that's why people look at it. But the bottom line is that there were underhand diplomatic dealings. And at that time, the decision was that Ghana should deport all the Chinese that are arrested in. So you realize that there were almost 5,000 Chinese. Now, nobody was prosecuted.
Yeah.
All of them,
Yeah.
what happened was we just revoked their permits and then we deport them back to their country because then that was the agreement between the Ghana government and the Chinese government at the time that if you say our people are destroying your country, it is your people who are showing them where they are. If you arrest them, send them back to us.
Yeah.
So you see, but the Aisha case became topical because of the nature of the case. She was also, the same treatment was applied to her where the immigration will revoke your visa and then you are deported. But because hers became a high profile case, so more attention. But the question is, she's one person. We had almost over 5,000 people deported under similar regimes. You understand? So clearly, it's just an issue of how we handle the diplomatic aspect of the whole thing. And I was going to say that then it brought up.
It's quite interesting you mentioned over 5,000.
Yeah.
Now I'm wondering how many of them would have come back or are even back in the system.
That's the question.
Same circumstances. Aisha is
that's the issue.
But you see, the diplomacy angle or the diplomatic angle, it's just, I'm sure, are we not the ones just talking about it? Because then the Chinese embassy hasn't come out to say that, oh, do you know something? We went into a certain diplomatic arrangement with the government.
They will not say.
They won't.
Do you get it? And then the government of Ghana.
Obligation to
and then the government of Ghana also.
We are the ones who like to run.
That's what I said. Osafo have said that in the first place.
Yes, but then the Chinese ambassador, I think the one, I don't know whether he's still the one.
No, he's gone.
He's gone. Okay, he came and said that, listen, I mean,
our people don't know where.
Yeah, our people don't know where the gold is. It is your people who are telling you, who are showing us where this whole thing is. Okay, but let me say this: about 2009, thereabout, there was a Chinese milk contamination in China, baby food contamination. You know, the people were sentenced to death.
Oh yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah, that's what China don't
the
do.
laws in China and how they
So
work.
these guys come here and then they pollute our water bodies.
Yeah.
We say, oh, we
And then we actually reward them with contracts.
Yes,
they don't reward them. Their contract is their money, and the conditions for giving you that loan is that the contract will be executed by their companies. That it's not that we award them the contract. These are the issues. When we went in for the The money we used to build the gas plant.
Yes.
We're looking for 3 billion so that we use the remaining to build the Eastern Corridor. You know why the rest of the money didn't come? That's why someone will be suffering, because they brought a new condition that we collateralize the loan with part of our oil and some cocoa. Then the Chinese now are demanding that we should give all our allocation of the oil, our percentage of the oil that we should give all before they release the rest of them. We too, President Murtala said, no, he won't do that. And then they said, okay, that's the case. We have been able to give you 1 billion there. That's why the rest of the money didn't come. So these people, you are a beggar. So then they are able to twist your arms and determine how the things will go. So in terms of the diplomatic negotiation, a lot of things go on.
I think that, listen, this whole Galamsey thing, we know police officers are involved.
Big ones.
Immigration officers are involved. And it runs from the lowest officer to the
highest
topmost. Military officers are involved. We know some of them by name. Okay? And you arrest some of them, and then they tell you that, listen, this general or this brigadier general is the one who I'm doing this. He is the owner of this.
We are only working for him.
This whole thing. Do you understand? And what they do is to send these young officers, or what sometimes they call Bogano rank,
to go and
into the bush to go and protect with state guns, uniform and everything. Okay? Into this Galamsey pit. Listen, the thing is so, widespread. You have no idea what we are dealing with. And so we can't just be, picking this, whether kingpin or queenpin or, what was the name, foot soldier or whatever it is.
In fact, last week, Forestry Commission arrested some Galamseyers. And the chief of the town is part of the people. The chief of the town is part of the Galamseyers.
Oh, Lord.
The chief of the community is part of the group that was in the bush doing the Galamsey thing. He's actually actively involved in the Galamsey.
We dealt with Wuntumi's issue. Wuntumi's name and then his Akunta mining came up about a year or so ago. What has government done about it? Frimpong Boateng's issues and so on, and the fact that even his son was also was also caught up there. What has happened to it? The many names that he disclosed as officials of Flagstaff House who were involved. What has the president done about it? Our colleague journalists and so on who were mentioned as part of this. What has come out of it? So, Nana, we are in trouble.
Like everyone is involved.
Yes.
So we're just behaving like.
But the journalist has come to hold a press conference to deny that it's not true.
The one that
the guy at FM that was mentioned.
Listen, let me tell you, there's something significant that I need to put across. Do you know something? You will be shocked that let this storm blow or quieting, and you have Aisha Huang filing an appeal. The media spotlight wouldn't be there. By the time you notice, she succeeded with her appeal because state attorneys and so on will pretend they haven't heard anything. And in the absence of any contest, or any legal contest, or they'll let her go. She'll go scot-free. And so listen, our criminal justice system.
I don't see her succeeding on an appeal because she actually was convicted on her own plea.
Oh no, I'm saying, see.
So
no, but no. I think on the charges,
she only
pleaded guilty to
on
the
one.
the country.
Illegally.
But for the legal minors.
Yes, but the state said they have enough evidence. And it's already been in custody since the issue has happened.
Exactly.
And I'm saying that
since September 2020, she's been in custody.
Elvis, I have known this, court system front and back. Listen, let all of us go to bed. By the time you notice, Aisha will possibly call you from, Zoom.
All right.
She's there.
You're watching Breakfast Daily here on Citi TV. This is the news review segment. We're going into some politics now, and we're looking at the Ododo constituency. I mean, obviously a flashpoint when it comes to elections. The NPP held its orphan primary over the weekend, and guess what? Nibana Nibana lost. He lost out to Manaf. The NDC is yet to hold its own, but there's some confusion rocking the whole exercise. I'll take a story from the NDC angle. This one says, Michael Yaboy breached mandatory 4-year membership requirement and is attributed to the NDC. The National Democratic Congress, NDC, has explained that findings made by the special committee established by the Functional Executive Committee of the party warranted the disqualification of Michael Ni Yaboy Annan from contesting the party's parliamentary primary in the Dodo constituency. Now, according to the party, considering the evidence presented, the special committee was unable to endorse Mr. Annan's qualification to contest the parliamentary primaries in the Dodo constituency based on Article 41(8)(b) of the NDC constitution, which provides that a member must be an active member of the party at the constituency level for the 4 years immediately preceding the date of filing nominations. So the NDC has disqualified a hopeful, an aspirant, Michael Ni Yaboy. Somewhere last week, we saw what his supporters did at the party's headquarters in Adabraka. Now, the party is giving explanation for his disqualification. But we've heard the sitting MP, Nilante van der Poy, who is not going back to Parliament, say that this particular disqualified aspirant is the only one who can retain the seat for the NDC. Considering all the happenings in Odododio and how the NDC and Yaboy are entangled over whether or not he should run in the primary or not, what danger lies ahead? Because the MPP also has its own challenges with respect to Odododio.
The danger I see is that NDC could suffer a divided front. Okay? Because, see, I mean, Nilante is a big boy in that constituency.
Definitely.
Somebody who has held that seat for, 3 terms. Okay? And decided that, listen, I won't go again. I mean, based on his own calculations. Maybe the place is no longer, you know, as friendly as he came to meet it, or he's just tired, you know, and wants to go and rest. However, to have said that, hey, I mean, this is the only guy who can be able to retain the seat for us, it's quite significant. I don't know whether he appeared before the committee, the Ajaho committee, that went into the matter, but shortly after the release of the report, and he's coming out boldly to say that, you know something, this is the guy who can, know, who can get us the vote. So, the seat. However, this is the same guy that the party has disqualified, narrowing the election therefore to 2 candidates. Ashi, who happens to be my schoolmate.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then the other guy.
The one they call, I think, the Don.
Okay, I don't know much.
He has this nickname.
Yeah, Don. I don't know much about him. Okay, so Nilante and Ashi are very, very close buddies. Okay, they are like, you know, siblings. And so I'm shocked that this whole thing is happening. However, he might have read the whole system, and I appreciated the fact that, you know something, Nia Emmanuel Anna Yaboy should be the guy who should go. As I'm saying, I foresee a situation where the NDC could elect a candidate, but then Yaboy, who has been disqualified, will want to go independent.
Okay.
And once he goes independent, he could split the vote. And the MPP could either win or Yaboy would. Or the constituency would then decide, you know something, let's maintain this, let's vote for the NDC candidate. I mean, NDC's situation in that constituency appears a little, you know, I don't know the word to use. Spare me one of your words.
While we are looking for that word, let me come to Elvis. I mean,
but you know, before then, Nilante, ahead of this investigation and so on, was mentioned or accused of bringing this gentleman, as in Yaboy, who had been an MPP person and had defected to NDC. MPP, he tried contesting before. Over there too, he had issues and couldn't make it. And so then he came to NDC hoping that things would be smooth.
But how popular is he in the constituency? Because he, for his supporters to attack the national headquarters of the party, and really, there's a force behind him.
No, this town, people can be hired, though.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow.
People can be hired.
Wow.
Citi FM, sorry, Peace FM.
Peace FM.
We saw what happened.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
We saw what happened. Oh, you know the gentleman who led the people there, he contested the Osu Koleklote seat.
The primaries.
Yeah, the primary.
The youth organizer.
Yeah, something. And then he lost Poto. You know?
Right.
So people can be hired into a lot of, of these things. But the other day we saw what did you mention?
Nibana.
Nilante
Bana.
Yeah, he was here the other day. You remember? And then I asked him what was his chances. He says, oh no, it's a done deal. And then he was winning hands down.
Wow.
And then I think he projected that he was going to win 60 to 75%.
Yes.
And then election and
Fake fans.
Fear delegates.
Fear delegates. Fear delegates. Yes, but I was going to do Bannerman with you, Elvis. I mean, the NDC is having its own challenges. But
I like the name Nibana.
Yeah, MPP is presenting a new face altogether. Manaf.
Yeah, I think the 2024 elections, I think that's what NDC and people are all doing. Everybody recognizes that the election is going to be tricky. So the strategy is that get a candidate that is popular on the ground that can pull the numbers.
Right.
If you are able to get more of such candidates, then your chance of winning the election is high.
Yeah.
So I see both NDC and MPP going for the strategy where they realize that this huge presidential candidate shouting is not going to make much difference in the campaign. What is going to make the difference is that when you get grassroots people down there who the people like, then you are likely to shift the goalpost. And I think that is the strategy. And for me, what is happening in the NDC, what I say is that Nilante wants the seat to be maintained by the NDC. And I'm sure that upon assessment, there are people in the party who desire to succeed Nilante. And they supported Nilante, thinking that when his time is up, they will succeed him. Which is the normal thing to do in a political party, because everybody has aspiration to rise to the highest level. So those people now feel betrayed that Nilante has betrayed them by going for somebody who is an MPP person to come. But Nilante might also be doing that in the sense that he's sure that for the NDC supporters in the constituency, they will vote for them. But I believe that if the guy is of MPP stock and now they bring him here, it's likely to pull some additional votes from the MPP side, which will make it easy for them to win the constituency. Right. And that, I think, it might be his strategy, why he's saying that the gentleman is the best place to win. And I think MPP might have also recognized that. That is why they went for another candidate aside Bannerman. Because they might have realized that, okay, probably the way the NDC is doing their thing, if they should still maintain Bannerman, they may have the core MPP base, but then they may not have people from the other side. Though it's a gun, but you see the now guy maintained has Manaf or what probably they might have realized that Manaf has a certain advantage that Bannerman doesn't have.
There's also another claim that Manaf used to be NDC.
Oh, okay.
Then he
so other parties
so trying to pull from the other side now becomes the strategy to maintain the seat. So I think that this is what is happening between NDC and MPP. But MPP has managed to elect their candidate. Now NDC has the challenge of electing who to come. But I think that the rules must be clear. See, in political parties, executives are always tilted towards we must win. So sometimes they want to sidestep the rules and get a candidate. But unfortunately, when you sidestep the rules, your core base get angered. And when that happens, you get apathy. You understand it? So if the other two candidates are the people who have been in NDC all their life, now they think that is their turn. And then you go and bring somebody who has joined the party just 3 years ago, less than 4 years, and I say he should be the candidate. You are going to get those who feel that we have been in the party all our life, but now we think it's our turn and we have been denied opportunity. Then we will show you that Without us, you can't win. So I think that it's a tricky situation for them. And I always say that, look, whatever happens, maintain your base first.
Yeah.
Before you think about pulling people from the other side. If you take any decision that angers your base, you lose an election. No matter how hard you work, you lose an election. Because if the base is the one you build on before you try to get some people to come in. So instead of taking a decision that will anger your base, I would prefer that take a decision that will make the base happy. Because they are the people who are going to convince people that vote for my party. They are the grassroots who will tell them that, oh, I think my party must win this time. But if you get them angry, who is going to do the work for you? So you see, I've always said in politics, I always go for a candidate that can maintain the base before we think about bringing somebody else. But the moment you take a decision that angers the base and your base is divided, you have lost an election ahead of time. So I think that then this should be guided. If really Neil Ante wants the seat to be maintained, he wants to be replaced by an NDC candidate, then he should tread cautiously. Because for me, no matter what you do, once you anger your base, it will be difficult for you to win an election. And I think what they are doing now, if indeed the guy was an MPP, and the constitution says that you should be 4 years, and the guy is yet to get to 4 years, obviously he's been disqualified by the constitution. So if you do that and you anger your base and you force and bring this guy, you have more problems rather than getting the guy disqualified. After all, it's not that he's qualified and he's been denied. The constitution is clear that he's not qualified. Give me the chance and say, look, let this boy go. The next 4 years, you can have the chance to come. You understand it?
But Nana, did Neil Ante respond to the question about the 4 years? Yeah, the 4-year qualification.
No, the only thing he's saying is that
not, so he knows, but
I'm quoting him here. Yesterday he spoke to Sanda on Eyewitness News.
Because then the claim of the committee is that certain what you call it, cards, membership cards were faked. Okay, or membership cards, strange membership cards came out.
Look,
strange
the
numbers
people are in the country, they know that the guy is not up to 4 years. They are not saying, and I like it that they are not saying that the guy is not a member. They are always saying that the rule says that it should be 4 years or more before you can stand. But he's yet to be 4 years. So why wouldn't they encourage the guy to stay on and in 2028 come and contest? And for Bannerman, I think that maybe he miscalculated in the constituency because, as Larry said, we were all here last week.
Perhaps it was
and
just
he said, between 65 to 70 there.
You see, I think that Bannerman...
Or maybe he's run out of cash. He's not on enough cash because when I saw some videos where people were pulling up how much they made that day.
So
now OSP is saying
6 of them have been declared wanted.
So you see, Nana, I think that there's a lot that is not going on well for
Bannerman.
Nibana.
Because Nibana, you were the MC, Accra, what?
Yeah, I think he was a one-time
MCE or something.
Yes, I'm not sure exactly what the designation is.
Yes, mayor, was it?
No.
Okay.
No, he did not serve as mayor.
Okay, so
No, he didn't.
no, he had a very, I mean, he had his own government, so became a
I
candidate.
think he ran the premix fuel thing for some time.
And then became a candidate. Nanado was to go and then the man went for the election and then lost. But then, I mean, he had attained a certain, stature, even by virtue of that,
I think he failed to build on the fact that he's been PC before and then failed to get to the grassroots properly. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe there's an inherent...
The cash problem.
Or maybe
complacency.
Maybe it's not is none of the above. It could just be...
Probably they also felt that...
The people want a new face. Maybe the people
maybe they felt that they gave him a chance.
Premix, the politics around Premix, it's unimaginable. You understand?
I agree.
So having come from that background and going to a very, let's say, fishing area, so-called, you would be very, very, very careful
how you deal with
with those people.
If it's about premise, then it means that the MPP will not have a chance. Because if it's about premise problem, because the people are larger than they are. So if the problem has anything to do with premise, then it means that MPP will have a problem winning that constituency because clearly the people livelihood will be in danger. So maybe the party also need to investigate to know why NEE didn't get it. So that if there's anything they need to do, they have
to
at
help
least a
them
year
enough.
to be able to do those things before.
Yeah, but
the
then,
time comes.
but the NDC also needs to do an investigation.
Of course.
As to it, the popularity of the various candidates they want to put on the ground. And they have a lot of time on their hands.
Oh yeah, and if you look at the political
I am a bit
space,
worried that for the sitting MP declaring support for the candidate that has been disqualified by the party and the impact it will have at the base.
politics is machinations.
Well,
Maybe the committee too, somebody is supplying them
somebody's
wrong
scheming
info
something
to scheme
somewhere.
for somebody. Look, this thing is look, when you want to
The
go into
politics
this,
of this country,
you want to go into internal, I say it is more diabolic than national elections. Internal elections in this country. The diabolism in internal elections, it will shock you. So maybe a lot of diabolic acts are going underground, and you may not know who is who. Probably you may not even know. Maybe some GM. This guy is the GM guy. So he must.
You have to push this guy.
So,
anyways, let's go into education now. The sector minister, was in Parliament yesterday, and he is justifying the December 4 reopening date for senior high school first-year students. Obviously, you have carried it in the Finder. On page 5, it says SHS reopening date to restore pre-COVID-19 academic calendar. This is attributed to Dr. Duchum. The Minister for Education, Dr. Yawase Duchum, has provided clarification on the decision to reopen senior high schools for first-year students on Monday, December 4, 2023. Speaking before Parliament, the Minister explained that the move aimed to restore the academic calendar to its pre-COVID state, with approximately 81% of students already placed in SHS. Dr. Osei Duchum highlighted that the majority of first-year students had been automatically placed in SHS based on their choices, making the reopening on December 4 a viable option. There have been concerns. The Speaker himself has asked that the dates be revised to allow parents and other stakeholders ample time to prepare adequately. But we all know the impact COVID had on the academic calendar. My worry is the contact hours. It appears to have been reduced drastically. And it's quite worrying how we are educating the students with so less time.
you see, that is a contact hours is not true.
Really?
Because the teachers themselves now say that they are working more than before.
Because
they
you
say
see,
now they have more contact hours than previously.
At different stages.
This is the teacher unions themselves speaking
but
that.
at different stages. But contact hours, like with a particular year.
No, everybody is having more contact hours now. So the teachers themselves.
But these ones are going to school for what, 2
problem.
weeks and come back for Christmas.
Yes, it's not break, it's Christmas break. And you see, you see, change is difficult. I understand. I sympathize with parents.
Yeah.
Somebody sends the child to Akwetia. Somebody sends to Cape Coast. Somebody has sent the
Somebody's
child
coming
to,
from North to Cape.
and then in 3 weeks' time, they say the students
Go
will go
home.
on break for maybe a week. And then January 3rd, look at the cost of transportation alone. You see? And the hassle parents will have to go through to go and pick their children, bring them home, and go back. And look at the time. The results were released just last week.
Yeah.
And yes, within they are preparing. Placement was done when? Placement came out Tuesday. And today, Monday, just within a week,
They have to go to school.
they are supposed to go to school. Some parents, their children do not even get placement. So there's the short time between placement and reporting date has become a challenge. That the minister is saying. See, the problem is that when COVID came, it affected the academic calendar. You see, problem is, first of all, we started double track. It affected the calendar. Then once double track was going on, then COVID came. Then they said, we shouldn't have a certain number of children in the classroom. So then we compounded the problem by doing additional
Double
changes to the timetable to make sure that the COVID rules too are obeyed. With COVID over now, they try to reverse to the situation that is it. In fact, when you talk to parents whose children are in schools that are not running double track, they don't really have a problem. Because for them, their children spend like 3 months in school, come home. It's like the normal thing we are used to. The challenge is the schools where everybody wants their children to go there. So the numbers are so huge that if you don't run a double track, you cannot take on those number of students. And interesting, these are also the elite schools. The elite schools, so where the creme de la creme of Ghana's leadership is their children who are going there. So the listing, you hear complaint. The listing, you hear complaint because these are big people in our society. My impression, those who children are having to grade B or C schools, their children are no longer running double track. And you see, so the challenge right now in this country is that if we had really resourced all SHS with the required laboratories, equipment, infrastructure, like we will not even have a double track. I know schools in my mother's village, Tongo, in South Dine. President Mos built a big secondary school. There are boarding facilities there. They don't have enough students. Why? Because it's a new school. Not enough teachers. People think, oh, new schools there, the students are not likely to pass well. And it's also in a rural area. So we are not selecting those schools for our children because we don't trust that the child will finish school and have good grades. So there are several secondary schools around Ghana that have a lot of space, even boarding facility for sleeping. But because we can't trust the quality of education in those schools, we all want the Pressex, the Ola girls, the Wesleys. That's where we trust the quality.
You haven't mentioned Bishop Herman.
Bishop Herman. Bishop Herman it's a first class school.
Yes.
It's a first class school.
Mentioned Bishop Herman.
You just have to chip that in.
All the first class schools, people want their children to go there. So the population concentration in the first class schools has become so high that whether we restore to pre-COVID or not, a school like Presec, Wesley Girls, they will never go off double track anytime soon. Okay? They will never go back. But assuming that all these schools around Ghana have the labs, the books, all the equipment, and they have so much space for sleeping, who then is going to complain? I heard a deputy minister was at Presec yesterday and is complaining about the dormitory they put the ward. And says, hey, he wanted. I heard the house master said, Minister, if you are complaining, some children are going to be sleeping on the floor. If your child has got a bed, you are complaining about them. Some children will come and they'll be sleeping on the floor. So you should be thankful to God that yours has a bed. You understand the situation. Meanwhile, as I said, the school in Tongo-Chanakpe right now has so many dormitories. So many dormitories that the children should go to.
My Armenian point.
Thank you. But then there will be space there. The problem is that one, we have not retooled. We have not retooled the schools properly. You see, and the way we run schools, when free SHS, I also that one policy we haven't done well is that the big schools, all that are in big cities should be running day, complete day, nobody. You see, and the rural schools where the villages are scattered far away from each other. That is why we should have boarding schools. But you see, that is why I have problem with that's the problem I have with the E-blocks. The E-blocks are fantastic idea to have a school that can accompany a lot of. But we decided to do day schools in a rural community. And a child has to walk like maybe 3 miles to school, and when you close 3 miles back, a teacher who is teaching there has no accommodation on campus. You also have to walk 3 miles to school and back. How can that child learn? So you see, these are the issues we should raise about education. If we create that equality in terms of resources for schools, all this pressure that is on Presec and the rest, please, it will reduce. Unfortunately, we have not been able to do that. And I think that instead of us putting so much pressure on these schools, let's find some resources and make that these schools that are around also get this kind of facility. It will be good for all of us.
Larry, do you think we should have held on to the reopening date a bit to allow parents and the students themselves, other stakeholders, ample time to prepare?
No, I think that we stopped listening to ourselves long ago in everything as far as our governance is concerned. For me, it is no longer a participatory democracy where you have an idea or you come up with a policy and then I'm supposed to make an input towards that formulation of that policy and then eventual execution. And subsequently, we monitor, we review, we do, we twerk it a little, but nothing. We just go on and on and on, and people are complaining. See, I've read a story about Educhum talking about how everything is okay. Teachers, nobody can say that the teachers are not are tired. And that, everything is okay. And it's only when school is in session that the teachers work. But if school is not in session, the teachers don't work. Listen, I have a niece who is somewhere in Accra Girls. Yesterday, she calls me and tells me that she has to go, she has to do extra classes. And she'll be doing these extra classes all the way till somewhere in March, thereabout.
Okay.
She's in Form 2, where they'll have to go back to school now. So because the Form 1s are coming, the Form 2s and then I think Form 3 or something, they are having to go home and report in 2 or 3 months' time. I mean, where are we going with this? Do you get it?
Yeah.
I recall, I mean, when I was going to secondary school in the, in the 90s, I recall that the results came together with the schools that I was selected to go. You get it? So all that my dad had to do was to travel to Kwando to go and pick my prospectus and then brought it home and then for us to be buying whatever it is. Do you get it? I mean, these days, no, the results is released and then some days later, before the school placement. As I'm talking to you, I'm dealing with another niece whose name didn't appear at all in the,
That's also one challenge.
Exactly, that's one challenge. And see when this thing was released. It was released on November 30th. And then they were given 4 days to go and pick the prospectus, okay, to go to the market, and then go and buy whatever it is that you have to buy and come and prepare your child.
For school on Monday.
Yes, I'll tell you something, a funny thing that happened with me. I mean, after the prospectus and all that, my father, was sending me to my aunties, my uncles, and everybody had a word of, advice for me.
Yeah. More than you're going to the
Yes, only when I get to be sure,
yes, you need to uphold the family name.
Exactly. You get it.
Don't go and disgrace us
No, don't go to Pando town. We sent you to stay in school. You don't have anything to pick in town. You get that thing?
Yeah.
It's a whole system that is built, when you are going to school.
Yeah.
These days, you don't have that anymore. And teachers are complaining about their time. They can't even go on leave. They can't plan anything with for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? And they keep talking and nobody is listening. Parliament now comes and says that, something, the time is too short. The 4 days is too short. Minister goes to Parliament and says that, listen, you guys, we are not dealing with that because it's a COVID thing and that we need to bridge the gap. We need to revert to whatever it is before. Isn't this whole thing getting back to the infrastructure debates that...
Clearly.
Yeah, that started before.
That's what it is.
Okay.
Because now even if we go back to the previous pre-COVID calendar, then we have the numbers glaring at us. And so we need infrastructure to accommodate.
Exactly. And that certainly students were even sleeping in dining halls. Okay? They were sleeping in the classrooms. They were sleeping outside on corridors and so on and so forth.
The Chronicle has put up a nice picture of a Duchum having whether breakfast or whatever it is with some students. But ironically, yesterday on X, there was a video circulating where there are students about 18 on a table in a dining hall.
Yes.
There was only one fish in the gas.
Look at that.
Yeah. You remember gas?
Yeah, I know gas. So then some of these things are more for the optics.
Yeah, basically.
They are more for the optics. I think years ago there was another picture where he was on a dining table with some other student. And then the strange thing, he had a special cap with which
Well, even this picture, his cap looks different.
Yeah, he had a special...
Let's leave that to the optics.
He gave the impression that he was eating the same food that the kids were eating.
Posterity is there to judge all of us.
The food that has been described as unwholesome. But then he says, okay, listen, I'm here to eat with you. The
cap was different.
Yes, but maybe the content is different because the cap even look different.
Because we can't see through the cap,
exactly.
So we don't know the content.
Get it?
Anyways, thank you guys so much. Larry Dogbe of the Herald newspaper, Elvis Darko, Finder newspaper. Thank you guys so very much.